Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to CAIIB Grade B. So in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss human resource development, right? We have picked out few of the subtopics that we are going to study in this particular lecture, and accordingly we are going to move as per the syllabus, right? So first of all, there is a snippet of the syllabus in front of you. The development of human resources is going to be one of the subtopic, right? And out of it you have further subdivision. So number one, we have HRD and its subsystems. Then we will talk about learning and development, right? The third topic that we have is attitude development. Finally, we have career path planning, self development and talent management combined with the succession planning, right? Yes. So let us first start with the human resource development. What is human resource development and all of that? See, I am picking up the topic of HRD and its subsystem for today. That means we have to understand the human resource development, and then we also have to understand what are its subsystem. So before moving up to that, I will tell you this into very brief. See, if anything we want to study, we should know that what is its function, right? What kind of function it performs. And human resource development, it has got three main functions. What are those three main functions? Number one is organization development, followed by career development, and followed by training and development, right? So these are the three main functions of human resource development. See, you are not naive to this particular topic. I know that you already understand human resource development, that it means whatever human resources your organization is having, developing them for the further use by the organization, right? So we already understand that this is the process which we have to follow in the human resource development. Now let's compare. These were the three main functions of it. Now let us come back to the definition part, right? So let us compare two organizations over here, and then we shall be moving forward. Now what are those two organizations? I can take to any type of organization. First of all, let us take an IT company. Now over here I am not generalizing any sort of organization. I am just depicting what kind of perception I have for these organizations, right? So I am not generalizing over here. Any statement that I am making, please don't take it to your heart. So we are talking about an IT company versus a manufacturing company. See, every organization has its certain plus as well as certain minus, right? So for an IT company, the pluses are, for example, work from home. You can do it as per your own wish, right? आप कर सकते हैं जब भी आपको ज़रूरत हो, ये यहाँ का प्लस पॉइंट है. बट व्हाट इज द फ्लिप साइड ऑफ दिस, राइट? इसका कुछ नेगेटिव भी तो होगा. हर चीज़ का एक अच्छा नजरिया होता है और एक बुरा नजरिया होता है, राइट? सो आईटी कंपनी में इफ दे आर गिविंग यू वर्क फ्रॉम होम, दैट ऑल्सो मीन्स दैट दे आर टेकिंग अवे योर वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, राइट? दे आर टेकिंग अवे योर वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस. Now that is one thing over here. ये आपका माइनस पॉइंट हो गया और ये आपका प्लस पॉइंट हो गया. Now similarly, for a manufacturing company, what is its negative side? Its negative side is that work from home is not available. Now when I am saying this, I am talking and keeping in mind blue collar worker, right? Those who are involved in the manufacturing process. Obviously you cannot give them work from home facility, but at the same time, somewhere in comparison to IT company, manufacturing company gives you a work life balance. There are fixed shifts, you have to be available in those shifts, and rest you have to go. So अब अगर इस तरीके की organizations में मुझे ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट की बात करनी है, राइट, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट की बात करनी है, then how I am going to do that? So there are various things when you are going for human resource development you have to look out for. Now out of this particular analysis, एक बहुत simple analysis जो हमने की, उसका मतलब मैंने कुछ ये निकाला कि when an HR department wants, when a HR department wants to develop the organization, first of all they have to see that what is the nature of their organization, right? उनका nature क्या है? They are an IT oriented company, they are a manufacturing organization, what they want to achieve basically, okay? After that, what is the goal of the organization, right? Finally, what is the level of education? Because just now we saw that there are three main functions of human resource development: organization ka development, career development, training development, right? So these are the three things that human resource development wants to do. So if you want to develop your employees, first get to know that what is their level of education. If they are highly educated, you want to develop them in a different manner, right? If they are not so highly educated, suppose there is a person who is just 10th pass, but he is having skills, right? So you want to provide him more skills, more manufacturing skills. और मान लीजिए कोई एक ऐसा आपके पास में person है, he is highly qualified, maybe he is passed out from a grade B school, right? Business school, he has been passed out of from there, and now you want to provide him with more exposure. So there is different kinds of training needs. First of all, you have to identify कि आपके workers का level of education क्या है. Level of education जानने के बाद में you are going to design the whole plan. So this whole human resource development is related with development of human resource from every angle, right? So first of all, you have to see the perspectives of organization. Then you have to see the perspectives of your individuals. What is their level of qualification? What is the maturity level that they have, right? Maturity level is also very important because you deal with the person as per their maturity levels. There are many theories which tells you how to motivate a person, right? I can name few theories, but it would be irrelevant for you. So that is why I'm just stating it in simplest manner. किसी भी इंसान को मोटिवेट उसकी मैच्योरिटी के हिसाब से किया जाता है, right? So this is also a function which comes in the human resource development. Now enough block building. Now let's move to what is human resource development and the definition of it. So obviously, human resource development believes in the limitless potential of human being. Any human being can do anything if that person is trained well, right? That person has been guided well. तो वो सही guidance और वो सही training is provided by the human resource development, right? Now it is a process which helps the organization in continuous and planned manner. Continuous or planned manner में मतलब कि this is a never ending process, because in your organization employees will come, employees will go. So that is why it is a continuous function. So over here, what do? We sharpen their capabilities, obviously through providing training. General capabilities are developed, right, and they are exploited for the organization development. At the end of the day, we develop an organization culture. We want to have a teamwork, right? In our organization, we want to have a teamwork. For example, if you will see a company which is based in Kolkata, you will see that there is a culture of saying each other dada, right? That is the culture. So this is called as a culture. Now the ethos of that particular place are ingrained in your organization. Not just the geographical ethos, but also the people who are working in an organization, they also impact the organization ethically. For example, suppose if my manager is there, ठीक है, मेरा manager जो है, he is very punctual, right? He is what you can say, he respects time of his own as well as of his colleagues as well as subordinates, right? he wants honesty in the work. So now the same things are going to pass on to me, and the same things I'm going to pass on to my subordinate. So this is called as organization culture, right? Now HRD, what do we do in HRD? So in the HRD, it is the integrated use of training development, career development, organization development to improve an individual and organization effectiveness. If someone asks me, this is the most wholesome definition of human resource development that you are going to have. So it combines three main things: training, organization development, career development. It is its functions as well, right? Now because you have understood these things, you will be able to easily guess what are the functions and what are the goals of this particular human resource development, right? What is the purpose of this particular topic? Now let us see the importance of human resource development. So most experts, they cite declining productivity and increasing competitive work environment. These are the two significant trends that have increased the attention in human resource development. Why do we need the human resource development? Because you might see that I have certain my friends, right? So they are working in corporate, and they are influenced, or you can say they are motivated through money. I guess everybody has the need of wealth as well as the money for obvious purposes, but there is something which is called as your inner calling, right? So they people, they are just motivated with money. They do not have any sort of interest or drive, or what you can say motivation to do their work. The only source of motivation is money. So this is this leads to declining productivity, right? So this is one trend. And then obviously competitive work environment. If you are not going to perform your work, then somebody else is going to fill in your shoes, right? Because this is competition and you have to perform really, really well. Now the other reasons for the increase in attention of HRD is increased laws and regulations, right? Proliferation of lawsuits related to HR, changes in workforce characteristics, and poor fit between workforce knowledge, skills and abilities and job requirements. Now that also happens because the environment is changing, the government is changing labor laws, right? Bringing in new labor laws. Now the ILO is talking about different conventions. So this is called as a dynamic environment. New MNCs are coming. They are bringing in new cultures of working. For example, 5-day working. This is pretty new in India, right? Because I have not seen my father working 5 days in a week. I have always seen him working 6 days in a week, and Sunday was considered as an holiday. But nowadays we have the culture of weekend, because Saturday and Sunday are considered as holiday. From where this particular thing has came in? This particular thing has came in with MNCs, right? Because they have a certain kind of this particular culture. Now it is the, what you can say, the most common things. Now I am not going to repeating them again. Now let's talk about HRD systems and its subsystems. So first of all, we are going to see that what are the systems of HRD and then its subsystems. Now system and subsystem ka matlab kya? For example, if we have a car, right? If we have a car, now this car contains different kinds of system which helps the car to run smoothly, right? The car is going to have a battery, the car is going to have an engine, the car is also having tires, the car is also having the outer structure, and all of them together. Now I do not know what all is there inside the car, right? I do not know much about it. So basically what I'm talking about, car is a machine. A machine has different kinds of systems, right? And all these systems together, they make this machine work and make this machine smoothly, what you can say, in the running capacity. Fine. So same thing is there with the HRD as well. If you want to develop your human resources, there are different subsystems. You have to focus on to it if you want to develop your human resources. Now let us see. You will be able to, what you can say, connect with me onto all of these topics because they are quite practical, and you might already have experienced these. Now let us see the types of HRD systems. Right, this is one of our topics and we are directly moving on to it. So HRD has 5 major systems. ठीक है, 5 मेजर सिस्टम इसके हैं और इसके साथ साथ में इनके सब सिस्टम्स भी लिखे हुए हैं, which I am going to briefly discuss, right? Because a detailed discussion is not needed onto it. You just need to have a briefer understanding of this, right? The first three systems, they are called as the career systems, right? And work system and development system, they are individual and team oriented, while the fourth and fifth systems like the self renewal and culture system, these are called as organization based. Basically whenever I am talking कि मुझे अपने organizations के human resources को develop करना है, so I have to think from two perspective. दो एंगल से सोचना पड़ेगा. Number one, from the individual perspective, and number two, from the organization perspective. Why? I'll give you an example. See, whenever you want to develop your organization, now for any organization, human is the most important asset. So you have to think from two perspectives. Number one, the individual perspective, and number two, from the organization perspective, right? And accordingly, we have created 5 subsystems. These ones are individual as well as the organization related. Now let us understand what do we mean by the initial subsystems. See, any organization, when you have human resources in it, आपको ये बात ध्यान रखनी है कि अगर मैं सभी को work from home daily basis पे allow करती हूँ, now you have to employ what you can say, deploy certain systems to keep a tab onto the employees working. Now I have seen a few of our IT employees talking about it, that if the work from home was given, they have just pressed a key and then it kept on running to show that they are actually working. Then the companies came up with certain improvement. Now you cannot just keep pressing just one key to show that you are working. Now you have to actually work, right? So these are the improvements that you need to do. But there was a survey that was held latest. I do not remember the name of the survey conducting organization, but it was held internationally. In that it was told that many companies believe that I guess Glassdoor has conducted that particular survey. So in that survey it was told that many companies consider work from home has decreased productivity, right? Many companies consider this particular fact. Now, if work from home is allowed universally, and if you are thinking only from individual perspective, somewhere you might be what you can say, neglecting the organization. So human resource department has to create a balance, right? They have to create a balance between the individual perspective and the organization perspective, because you cannot leave your employees unattended. You have to cater to their interest. You have to listen to their requirements. If they need work from home during what you can say 2-3 days in a week, you have to provide them, right? But at the same time, you also want employees involvement when the goals have been unachieved, right? So these are the things. Now let us see the subsystems one by one. So first of all, I have the career system. Now as an HRD system, it ensures attraction and retention of human resources. See, any organization wants to attract but also retain. If you see the organizations like Infosys, TCS, they have around 20% around, that is their average attrition rate. That means people leave their organization. right? So that means if 100 people have been employed, 20 people grossly have left the organization. Now this is not a good sign that we want. ठीक है, हम चाहते हैं लोगों को बुलाएं, then human resource department wants to develop them, wants to train them, right, and then wants to retain them. You can see the leadership pipeline of Tata. You can see the leadership pipeline of, let's say, your what you can say, Infosys also, up to certain extent, not that much, but yes, Tata is the most prominent one where you can see a leadership pipeline, how it is growing, how the in-house leaders have been developed by giving them training, by giving them a lifelong career. So every individual wants a good career. Every individual wants, what you can say, they want to be in an organization which fulfills its need. Now, what are the subsystems of it? Let us see. Manpower planning, recruitment, career planning, succession planning, and retention. So if you want to retain the employees in your organization, you have to do all of this. Succession planning का मतलब जो आज manager है, right, कल को चल के वो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट बनेगा और या प्रेसिडेंट बनेगा. Fine. So this is called as succession planning, where I have the belief that if I am working in this organization, I am giving my 100% to this organization. Tomorrow I am going to see a promotion to a different level with increased responsibility, with increased prestige, and this is also helpful for the organization as well. Suppose एक person जो आपके लिए 20 सालों से काम कर रहा है, if you are going to retain that person has seen A to Z of your organization, right? So he is going to take a much better decision than a person who has been brought in from outside. Getting my point? So this is what the whole and soul of career system. Now next we have the work system. So you have to do work planning as well, so that attracted and retained human resources, we should utilize them in best possible way to attain the organizational objectives. See, what do we want? We want that the human resources that we have in our organization, we should be able to utilize them in a good manner, right? Suppose I have employed a surgeon in my hospital and I do not have many patients over here, right? Why? Because my organization is bad or ethics is bad, whatever. But the matter of the fact is that I am paying a good handsome amount to the surgeon, but I am not able to utilize that surgeon fully, right? So this is my loss, right? This is my loss. So the following are the subsystems of the work planning. You have to do role analysis. I have explained this in I guess day before yesterday we had a class, and in that I have explained you that how the job analysis has progressed to role analysis, right? Although that was not in your syllabus, but I took that particular class to explain you various kinds of terms that are being used. So role analysis, role efficacy, performance plan, feedback and guidance, appraisal, promotion, job rotation, and reward. These are all called as work system. Now I'll tell you over here, if a person is employed, you have to tell them that what is expected out of that person. अब pizza delivery boy से ये expected है कि वो 30 मिनट में pizza deliver करेगा. That is going to be the role analysis, right? Role analysis means these are your objectives of the role. This is the time in which you have to achieve it. This is the customer satisfaction level that we want. For example, I am visiting an hospital nowadays, and in that particular hospital, as the patient is admitted, so daily the one person comes and that person asks, what is your experience, ma'am, in this particular hospital, right? Are you satisfied with the services or all of that? So they have a separate department for that, because what they are doing is they are analyzing whether their hospital employees, hospital staff is performing well or not. So this is called as the role analysis, role efficacy, कि हाँ भैया आपका ये role है, if the cleaning staff is doing its work properly or not, if the nursing staff is doing its work properly or not. Now who is going to be the reviewer in this case? So reviewer is the patient, right? he is going to tell that yes ma'am, I am receiving good services. So this is called as role analysis, role efficacy, performance feedback and guidance. Now performance feedback is given by manager to the worker, right? Over here we are giving the information to the person that okay, you have to do this particular task, you patient what you your customer should be satisfied with you. That is the number one rule. Now after that, performance feedback is given by the manager to the employee. Performance appraisal also comes in that particular category only, where the manager tells that yes, this was expected out of you, right? You have been able to achieve 70% of your goal, or let's say 60% of your goal, right? So this is how they tell them. Promotion is based on the performance that you have done. If you have shown exceptionally well performance, then you are going to promote it as per that. Job rotation is, see, in order to break the monotony of the job, a person is shifted from one place to the another, right? So this is called as a job rotation. It could be horizontal, it could be vertical as well. But mostly this is called as, this is taken as horizontal only, because in that case you have a whole knowledge of the periphery of your work, right? So from A to Z of your work you are able to know from the job rotation perspective. And then we have the development system. So because the environment, see, the environment and the business scenario, they are fast changing. Human resources within the organization, they have to rise to the occasion and change accordingly if the organization wants to stay in the business. So in the development perspective, what we want to do this, that the humans that we have in organization, the human resources that we have in our organization should be continuously developed. Why the need is there? Because the environment is dynamic. It is changing day to day basis. So if you are not changing, अगर आप नई skills नहीं सीख रहे हैं, then you are late. Okay. So there are few of the subsystems over here, like induction, training, job enrichment, self-learning mechanism, potential appraisal, succession, counseling, mentor system. Now you see, what does a mentor do? Just like a coach, right? That person guides the mentee about what are his potentials, what he is able to achieve, right? How in a better way he can contribute to the organization, how in a difficult situations he can take particular decisions. So this particular mentor is to guide, right, for the future. We understand the potential appraisal, we understand the succession development. Job enrichment का मतलब होता है, suppose right now I am only doing the vouching work, right? Or for example, right now I am only doing the content development for this educational sector. But once I have got a grip onto the content, I have been succeeded as an educator, right? So first I have got the grip onto the content and then I have been succeeded as an educator. So this is what is called as a job enrichment, right? When your responsibilities have been increased. So when the responsibilities are increased, that automatically leads to development, right? अगर आज आप सिर्फ एक ही काम को पूरे महीने लगातार कर रहे हो, इसके बाद आपको थोड़ा काम और दे दिया जाए, तो उससे क्या होगा? आपका डेवलपमेंट होगा, आप एक नई स्किल सीखोगे आगे के लिए, राइट? एंड इन फ्यूचर दैट स्किल ऑल्सो लीड्स टू योर प्रमोशन, राइट? उससे प्रमोशन भी होता है हमारा. नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग वी हैव द सेल्फ रिन्यूअल सिस्टम. So the first three we talked about from an individual perspective, right? कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको किस तरीके से डेवलप किया जाए. बट कभी कभी काम करने वालों में फॉल्ट नहीं होता, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के खुद के कल्चर में ही एक फॉल्ट होता है, राइट? सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ सेल्फ रिन्यूअल सिस्टम. it says that sometimes it may not be required to develop the individuals and the teams in the organization, but we do have a need to rejuvenate the organization itself. ठीक है, rejuvenate the organization itself. So basically we have to work on to the principles of organization, we have to see the culture of the organization, we have to see what is lacking. So for example, in my city there is a hospital, right? So nowadays I am taking more examples of hospital because I am frequently visiting them because some reason or the other. So we have one hospital, and that hospital is having very good softwares, right? Very good softwares. These kind that kind of IT tech infrastructure is not available in the other hospitals, right? So it is technically very good, but there is one problem over here. What is that particular one problem? That one problem means in that particular organization, the human resources are not that good. They are not what you can say well behaved with the patient. They are very greedy, right, in the matter of patient management. Apart from that, the superior subordinate relationship is also very strained in that particular hospital. So there is no point in guessing that that particular organization or the hospital is neglected by the patients, right? Patients doesn't really go over there until and unless there is someone who's not very aware about the organization and its working culture. So sometimes the need is both ways. Sometimes the individuals are bad, sometimes the organization is bad. Like in the case of hospital example I gave, individuals are bad. Sometimes the organizations are not good. For example, I do not know that what particular category I should be putting in, but this might be controversial. But yes, the government hospitals that we have, they are the human resources are really good, right? But there is something off in the organization setup because of the missing employer phenomena. There is something off in the management. So this is called as self-renewal system. What does it want? It wants action research, it wants organization development, it wants organization retreats. Basically what we want to do is हर एक action को analyze करो, right? Take feedback, see the action of the organization, do research onto it, right? See what can be improved. This leads to organization development. Wherever you are going bad, you have to come back and what you can say, you have to correct yourself. So the path correction is really important, right? वो चीज बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Then we see the culture system. Now this is the fifth thing. So let me tell you this. See, having a boss and the subordinates. Right? This is called as organization structure. Superior subordinate relationship को हम कहते हैं organization structure. But there is a fluid part to that organization. Fluid part means this particular part is invisible. This particular part of the organization is invisible, but it also affects the organization. ठीक है, ये भी organization को affect करता है. So this particular formal part, this is called as organization structure, and the part which is invisible in the organization but still impacts its working, it is called as organization culture. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Culture. Now I have told the culture can be reflected in its working. Fine. For example, having a off day on to any kind of festival, that is where you are showing the society's culture. Individual cultures like the South Asian managers, they believe in the luck, right? So that kind of culture could be there in the organization. Organization could be having an innovation culture as well. For example, Apple, it has got a centralized team. ठीक है, एक centralized team है that focuses on to the innovation. So that culture is innovation driven. right? There are few organizations which are just lame followers, right? For example, you can see there are many what you can say, cheap qualities of kurkures that are being sold in the market. Now I do not know what these kurkures are exactly called. You can call them as a snack item. So there is a cheap quality of it, right? So these are called as the followers. They are just selling counterfeit products, right? And that is their culture, to follow working of an organization and just replace its products. So these are called as the culture. Now let us see. Building a desired culture is of paramount importance in today's changed business scenario. It is a work culture that will give a sense of direction, purpose, togetherness, and the teamwork, right? So if the employees are trusting each other, right? If the superiors and subordinate relationship is honest, they have a level of faith onto each other. Now this is going to give you a good work culture to work in, right? So that creates a culture. If the people of the organization are corrupt, right? They are not trusting each other, they are corrupt. Now this is a culture which is going to impact the organization productivity. आप काम ही अच्छे से नहीं कर पाओगे. I do not need to give an example for the corruption. You already know. Fine. So wherever there is corruption, आप सोच ही नहीं सकते कि आपका काम honesty से पहली बार में हो जाएगा. Right? So these are the problems that are being created. Now let us see the subsystems of culture, how a culture is built up. So vision, mission and goals, values, communication, get together, task force and small groups. So in large organizations, there are small groups of teams. For example, if an organization is having multi-product, so it is going to have a team for each product separately. Like there is an organization, it is also selling biscuits, it is also selling atta, it is also selling Maggi, right? Or sorry, the noodles. I should not take the name of Maggi. So it is also selling noodles. Now there are different products, right? अलग अलग तरीके के product हैं, and इन सभी products को lead करने के लिए अलग अलग तरीके की teams होंगी. So if there is a team development, this team development leads to what you can say, a kind of sense of belongingness in each other of the team members. So this develops a culture. अच्छा, culture develop करने के लिए हम एक party भी organize कर सकते हैं. For example, the HR department organizes a party for all the new joinees, right? Where they can come together, they can meet each other, they can meet their other superiors and the subordinates, but in informal manner. ठीक है, एक informal manner में. So this is called as the get together. Vision, mission of goals. For example, if an organization says that we want to be the most fuel efficient car maker in India, हम सबसे ज़्यादा फ्यूल एफिशिएंट कार बनाना चाहते हैं इंडिया में. सो अब वो उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का गोल है, वो उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का क्या है, मिशन, राइट? क्या बोलेंगे हम इसको, मिशन ही तो बोलेंगे. सो द मिशन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, द विजन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन also gives a culture, right? So here we have discussed HRD and its subsystems. Now at the end I would like to discuss the three functions. Number one, I have organization development. So in the organization development, what we are focusing on to, micro as well as the macro organizational changes. We want to change organization as a whole. We want to change small parts of the organization. Change means change for better. अच्छे के लिए हम बदलाव लाना चाहते हैं. So that will be your organization development. Then I have career development. Career development, it is an ongoing process, right? So over here we are focusing on to the individual progress, so that he can achieve his maximum level of achievement, and it is one of the functions of your human resource development, right? It is one of the functions. Then lastly, I have training and HRD. So what is this? In the training part, what I want to give is, we have a globalized market and I want to give the training to the employees based on his or her need as well as the role. So there is on the job training, there is off the job training as well. Both kinds of training is there, and the employee is provided the training that he or she requires, right? So with that, we have completed a subtopic called as HRD and its subsystems. I hope you must have understood the topic really well. If you did, then please do not forget to give us a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching.